Once I had overcome that monster in his final stage of mutation, I had no idea where the president could have escaped to, but I wasn't going to waste any time in finding out. The bodyguard admitted that he had left for the military base in the Great Desert. But first, I was seriously considering changing my clothes, because the stench and the state that I was in meant that I was just as disgusting.
This level can either be really easy and quick, or really long and painful depending on how you tackle it. First of all, we want to come back here and hide behind these buildings. You may not know it, but the enemies do have an aggro range. They don't see you as soon as they come on the map. So if we hide back here behind these buildings, they won't be able to find us. However, as soon as we step toward one of the bunkers, they will miraculously drop out of the air. I'm not even kidding. You saw that guy, he dropped out of the sky. Now, we need 3 keycards before we can reach the President's bunker, and 2 of the keycards are in this initial area in their own bunkers. They're relatively close to each other as well. Just don't bother entering any of the other buildings besides the one with trenches. Excuse me, Mr. Camera, I'd like to go forward. Now, if you just head straight to these 2 bunkers and then forward, this area will take, what, a minute or a minute and a half? Not very long at all. But if you get lost and try to search all the other buildings, then it's going to take much longer. The guns the enemies drop in this level aren't that bad, but they're also nothing compared to the ones we had last mission. And most of the guns we get since won't be that good either. There's only one more keycard left, and the next keycard is right in the next area. After we get out of this tunnel, there will be a building right to our right, and that's where the final keycard is. Now, don't fool around in here, because the enemies do spawn infinitely. Just go get the 3 keycards and then leave. And the enemies should only spawn 3 times if you do it fast enough. If not, then you're going to have to end up fighting a lot more. Oh, hey, we got a Gatling gun. The game calls it a rifle, but you're not fooling anybody. It's a handheld Gatling gun. It's very strong, and it's capable of firing continuously without missing a beat, which makes it useful, but it's still not as strong as those laser guns we got in the sewers. But you can't have it all. Yes, this bunker is very huge, and it's where we'll be spending the rest of the level. The first thing we need to do is grab this battery. There's no indication that you can pick it up, but if you don't grab it, then you can't progress through the level. So the gimmick for this level is the elevator. We take the elevator down once and it stops, and then we need to find more power to take the elevator down the second time. Now, instead of just telling you to go get more power for the elevator, the text tells you that you should go find the stairs, because, you know, apparently finding extra power for the elevator would take too long, so alright, we'll go find the stairs. And by tells you to find the stairs, I mean the arrow points to the stairs and you can't go forward until you follow the arrow. But if we come just over here to the right, no, I'll get there eventually. Right over here, we can see another battery for the elevator, just sitting right outside the door. But if we were to go back and try to power the elevator with this, it wouldn't work. We still have to go try the stairs. I mean, that's kind of dumb because the elevator's right there and we already have the power, but alright. Oh look, the stairs are blocked. Wonderful. So not only is it dumb in the first place to not be able to power the elevator as soon as you get the battery, but the game forces you to check the stairs, which you find out is blocked. So you have to go power the elevator with the battery anyway, which you already have if you looked for it. And if you don't have it, you'll notice it was just sitting there the whole time. So you could have powered the elevator all along. I guess they really didn't expect you to think about it, like, at all. The rest of this level is fairly straightforward until the boss, so we're going to use this time to talk about... Oh, hey. Hey, bud. Oh, he popped out of existence. So we're going to use this time to talk about the developers some more. Back when they were still called Arcade Zone, right after they made Legend, they developed another beat-em-up for the SNES called Iron Commando. And according to an interview they did, Iron Commando is the work they are most proud of. They consider it to be their magnum opus. And it's certainly a step up from Legend. It takes a lot of pages from the Book of Punisher, as far as beat-em-ups are concerned. There are a whole variety of weapons at your disposal, not just guns, but grenades, knives, and the like, and you can pick up and throw enemies into other enemies, unlike Legend, where you just had your sword. You also have that same dropkick from Legend, which is, you know, still insanely useful. Now, Iron Commando is also brutally difficult, just like Legend, but for a different reason. Iron Commando runs on a time limit, and because there's so many guns in the game, every enemy has a gun. Now, dealing with enemies with projectiles in beat-em-ups can be tough, but it's doable. It's way less doable when you have a time limit, because dealing with projectile enemies in beat-em-ups requires that you be careful, but the time limit requires that you be fast. But I don't think designing the game that way was necessarily unfair, it's just way too hard for the average person to complete. So even though it has really kick-ass music and incredibly high production values, I wouldn't consider trying it out unless you're a masochist. I can still definitely see why they consider it their magnum opus though, because it's much better than everything they made previously. And much better than Hidden Invasion. Right, where were we? We're almost to the boss. He's in this next room after this group of enemies. We do have the Gatling gun weapon, but I'm trying to save it for the boss, which is futile. Because he'll kill me before I get to use it, but no one can say I didn't try. So the boss, when you're far away... I'm sorry, we're not in the room yet. This boss is unique in that when you're far away, it fires missiles at you. And missiles knock you over instantly and deal massive damage. So staying away from the boss is not advised. You want to get close as quickly as possible. Because otherwise exactly that will happen. Now when you get close, you still have a bit to worry about. He can fire machine gun rounds which go straight through your shield, unlike other projectiles. He isn't that good at hand-to-hand combat though. He has this one wind-up punch that he likes to use a lot when you're close to him, but it's easy to dodge. You can also block his machine gun bullets if you have great reflexes, but I find that's way more difficult than it seems. He also takes damage incredibly slowly. He may be the enemy that takes the least damage from your attacks. Guns don't do a whole lot of damage to him either, so it's all about endurance, really, and getting out of the way when he punches. Needless to say, it would also be a lot easier if he didn't have a ton of goons around him at any given time, and you do need to take the goons out before you hit him, otherwise you'll get smacked in the back. So again, it's a matter of endurance. This boss fight's gonna take a while no matter how you tackle it. And this is pretty much the only way to tackle it. I do actually consider this boss to be fairly well designed. He has noticeable weaknesses and unique moves. The only real complaint of mine is how long he takes to defeat considering how tough he is, because he doesn't mess around. And you're likely to lose 1 or 2 lives fighting him if you know what you're doing. Way more if you don't.